you're a little bit over 2 weeks out from your professional debut. Just take me through what's going through your mind for this exciting opportunity that you have right in front of you.
Just training hard, man. Training hard, and yeah, like you said, 2.5 weeks out. So just been training hard and getting ready to go out to New York and handle business.
What does the training look like when you're a little over 2 weeks out for the fight? A lot of the work has already been put in. I know the fight got delayed because of an injury that you suffered, but now being a little over 2 weeks out, what does your day-to-day training look like?
It just consists of boxing training, strength and conditioning training. I run about 25 miles a week. So really, you just, picking up your stamina, your endurance, and sparring, 3 times a week. It's not easy, I'll tell you that.
How about the nerves? I know you're confident. We know what you accomplished on the amateur level. Now you're getting ready to make your professional debut, and it's at MSG, right, on one of the biggest stages ever. Are there nerves heading into this date of July 26th?
Yeah. Nerves, nerves are always going to be there. When you're competing at the highest level, it's normal to be nervous. That means you care. You care. You want to win. If you're not nervous, that means like you don't really care. Whatever happens, happens. But yeah, nerves are definitely there. But pressure's there too. Pressure makes diamonds though. So we're gonna go out there and just handle business.
What kind of pressure do you feel as you get set to make your professional debut?
It's the pressure to put out the best version of yourself. You could go out there and put out a C performance, B performance. But I put a lot of pressure on myself to go and come out as an A+ performance. So that's what the pressure is.
Just wondering, as Julius JuJu Ballo is here with us, he's going to make his debut on July 26th at MSG. He's a phenom at 22 years old, and his amateur career has been unbelievable. For people that never seen you before, right? Like I could read about you, I could see the great Instagram videos you put out there,
Yeah.
the TikToks, and it's unbelievable when I watch the clips that I see of you and how you came up on my timeline. But for people that have never seen you and they've just heard about you, what can they expect when you step into the ring on July 26th?
I think they could expect fireworks and go out there and I'm not gonna look for the knockout, but if the knockout comes, I'm hoping it comes, but expect fireworks.
Now, we talked about your decorated amateur run, 51-8. What do you take from that experience, and what did you really learn from that time before you ended up becoming a professional?
51-8 is not correct. My amateur record is about 215 fights, about 16 losses.
See, I'm glad you said that
Yeah.
because when I was researching this, I saw
Mhm.
that number and then
Yeah.
I saw 51-8, and I had
Hmm.
no clue what the actual number was.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I'm not sure where the 51 from, but the actual record is when you get so far high up, like you can't. It's hard to keep in track of the actual number, but it's around 215 fights, about 16 losses. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. But that experience is, it's everything. That's what makes the difference between the high, decorated fighters. They all have, great amateur experience, and I'm very thankful that I went through all of that. Representing Team USA, went to the Pan American Games in Colombia, got a gold medal there. So truly was a blessing traveling around the world and getting as much experience that I can.
it's fascinating because you've already accomplished so much. And now the expectations just grow bigger and bigger. How do you not allow yourself to get complacent? Just wondering.
It's listening to the coaches, listening to my dad, and constantly being a perfectionist and try to get better, 1% every day. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. So I'm just gonna get better every day and put on a performance that a spectacular performance.
Now, I saw some video. Julius JuJu Ballo is here with us, going to make his debut on July 26th at MSG. For more information, to get tickets, ticketmaster.com. And it showed a video of you punching in a gym when you were 3 years old. So take me
Yes.
through how that all did come about and why this wasn't just something that was a cute video. It turned into what is now a career for you.
Yeah, so my dad took me to the gym at 3 years old. We started boxing at three and training. I had my first amateur fight at 8 years old, first amateur fight. So I traveled around the world and I got my first national championship, USA national championship. I was 17 years old, I believe. And that's how I got my spot on Team USA. And that's when I started traveling, and that's how I ranked up over 200 amateur fights.
It's crazy because if you look at baseball, for example, like I played Little League when I was a kid at 7 years old, but there's really no harm in me being
Hmm.
in Little League. We had Joey Logano, the NASCAR driver, on, and he said he first got in a car when he was 6 and he started racing. You're saying you had your first fight at 8. How did
Yeah.
you really fall in love with it? And was there some fear early on when you're doing something that is still very dangerous?
Being that young age, doing sport like boxing, at first I didn't really, I didn't really. There was days I didn't like it. There was days I didn't want to go. There was days we were at my grandma's house with the family. We had to go leave the house and go train. There was days I didn't want to go. There were days that I didn't mind going, but it was definitely something that wasn't easy. But honestly, I'm thankful that my dad did that. Because now it obviously has paid off, and now it's basically muscle memory.
So when you're talking about this build up to this fight, you're supposed to make your professional debut a little while back. Unfortunately, you got hurt training with the hand injury. How tough was that to overcome with all the emotions of the build up to what was supposed to be your professional debut and now it getting, just kicked down the road a little bit?
It was very tough going through that, but God got a plan, a bigger plan, and the hand injury did happen. Everything's all fixed, and we're 110% ready to go. And now we're bigger and better stage. At Madison Square Garden. What a way to start it off.
Who were some of your favorite boxers, growing up as a kid?
I always watched as a kid. I watched Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez, and one throwback fighter I would watch is Sugar Ray Leonard.
And everyone talks about the state of the sport. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a P1 boxing fan. I love those
Yeah.
Tyson Fury fights up against Deontay Wilder. That really captivated my attention. It was the most recent fight that I said, okay, I have to buy this. I have to watch because those fights were just so awesome. What do you think is someone that's so young and right, you had such a decorated amateur run and now you're making your professional debut. What are your thoughts on the current state of boxing?
I think it's in a great position. A great position. I think we've got a lot of help from the Saudi Arabians. The Turkey Al Sheikh. He came into boxing, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job taking care of the sport. So I think it's boxing is headed in a very good direction.
And obviously, if you get a star like yourself and you meet the hype, that could only help the sport. I know you said when people tune in on July 26th, you want them to expect fireworks. How do you plan to expect people like me that are on the fence about boxing to really get excited about the sport again?
Exactly like you said. You gotta match the hype. So when you get a fighter that could fight, and you can match the hype. It's only going to bring the sport even higher.
It's crazy. And you grew up very quickly, obviously. You're 22, just making your pro debut. I'm sure we'll be talking in 10 years. I remember when I'm 22, I'm about to turn 31 coming up next month in August. Let's say we're talking 8 to 10 years from now. How do you want people to be talking about Julius JuJu Ballo?
That's a great question. 8 to 10 years from now, so I'll be about 30, 32 years old. I feel like by then I'll be a multi-world champion, and people are going to be asking, when are the gloves going to be, going to be put down. So I'll plan on retiring, around that time, about 33 years old. So I feel like I should be very accomplished in the sport, and yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Obviously, this was a love. This was a passion. You grew up around this. But sometimes people, they grow up around things and they don't end up making it their profession. For you in this crazy journey already, it feels like you've already gone through an incredible career. You're just getting set to make your pro debut coming up at the end of the month on July 26th. When did you realize that, hey, this isn't just something I like, but this is something I'm really damn good at?
I think that's a great question. I think I figured that out once I won I got on Team USA and I won the USA National Championship. I think that did it right there. And I realized that, I think this is the reason why God put me on this earth.
Now, you're not a normal 22-year-old, obviously, but I'm sure you have some normal moments in life since this is a sports show. Outside of boxing, what type of sport fan are you?
I'm a big sport fan. I love football, basketball, soccer. I'm a big Cristiano Ronaldo fan. I love Ronaldo.
For football, in terms of American football, I know you're a big soccer guy. I saw on your Instagram. I know you're from San Diego, but the Chargers now in LA. Did you grow up a Chargers fan?
Yeah, man, I was a big Chargers fan. I was very upset to see them go.
Yeah, no, of course. So last thing I just want to ask you here, wrap it up with Julius JuJu Ballo. This is such an exciting time for you when you're training for it. Like, do you try to not just get too excited and it's just like, is it tough to just stay there, focus and lock in and day out with this? You could almost taste this professional debut right around the corner.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's tough. It is exciting. It is exciting, and it adds more fire to the flame, during training. But it's not hard for me to stay grounded. I'm used to. I fought in world champions before. I fought at the highest stage at the amateur level. So I don't let the moment take over me. I take over the moment.
It's kind of like there's a calmness to you, but you're also confident as well. Is that the right way to describe it?
Yeah, I'm just being myself, man. That's all. No, really, no act here. Just really just being myself, and just that's all.
So like an hour before the fight, what goes on? Like you listen to the music. Like how do you get into that zone? Because you have to go to a different level before you get into that ring.
Yeah, usually I'll be playing some 50 Cent, or get in that mode, and just thank God for everything, and put all the work that I did in the gym, and show it that night.
Two more, and then I'll let you run here. And this has been a really good conversation. After you win on July 26th, what's the celebratory meal afterwards? What are you looking to eat?
Oof, that's a great question. I don't know. Maybe I got to talk to my nutritionist on that one, but I think isn't New York known for their pizza? Maybe we gotta go get some pizza or something.
Yeah, so I live in New York. I'm a New Yorker.
Okay.
You could definitely get pizza. If you want
Yeah.
to go to Peter Luger and get a steak, that's not bad as well.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What's a chopped cheese?
A chopped cheese. So it's not a cheese steak, but it's basically like just chopped meat with cheese on it.
Okay.
It's good. I
Okay.
would say like just it would be a relative, like a cousin
So
of a cheesesteak.
maybe a pizza and a chopped cheese will
Yeah.
celebrate the night.
You go to Katz's Deli late night too. You get a pastrami
Okay.
on rye with some mustard and a well done French fry. That's not bad
Oh,
as well.
I'll take you on that.
Yeah, maybe we'll buy for you after the fight. Who
There you
knows if you,
go.
if you
You
end
you
up
and
getting
you
a
and I,
knockout?
you and I, you'll join the victory dinner.
Yeah. One last thing for you, Jake Paul. What are your thoughts on him? Because for a while, a lot of people thought he was a gimmick, but man, he's really come a long way in his fighting career.
Yeah, Jake actually came down to my gym in San Diego about 4 years ago, and before I turned pro, he actually came and he made an offer to sign me to his promotion. And I let him know. I said, brother, I just want to say, like, you've done a fantastic job from the time I've seen you to now. I think he's actually helped boxing in a way where he brought a whole different audience. So I think it's actually helping boxing.
It's kind of funny because some people don't want to give him his credit.
Mhm.
And you, someone that is a phenom, you're sitting there saying, no, we need to respect him. Just why is there that level of respect outside of the relationship you guys had a few years ago?
I think it's the level of respect because it's the things that he's done is not easy. I believe he's under 10 fights, and he's fighting in the biggest stages of the arenas. 20,000 people in attendance. He's fighting like a prize fighter, main event fighter. So that pressure and that level of performance you have to perform is not easy. So it may look easy, but he makes it look easy.
How far do you think this thing could go for him? Because I feel like every time we
Mhm.
talk about him, it just keeps on
Yeah.
going up and up a level.
Yeah. I'm hoping it goes up and up for a long time because it helps bring a lot of money and eyes to the sport. So it's good for boxing to have someone like that. Bringing attention, and maybe not good attention sometimes, but it's good attention. All attention is good attention. So
Well, once again, Julius JuJu will be making his professional boxing debut on July 26th at Madison Square Garden. To see the 22-year-old boxing phenom fight against Brandon Ayala in a featherweight bout, go to Ticketmaster.com. Juju, good luck. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
thank you, brother. You too. Appreciate you.